Hi, I'm the Director for Common Knowledge Trust, and we produce Birthing Better Childbirth Preparation online course. And it's a series of lessons of skills that were developed by hundreds of families just like yourselves from the early 70s until the mid 80s. And then we went online in 2000 and have been going strong ever since. So our goal as a trust is to grow skilled birthing families because Birthing Better families who started this wanted to be skilled. And the question really is how important is childbirth to you? I mean, that's a really important question. Is it a big event? Is it a kind of big event? Is it bigger than your wedding? Is it bigger than getting to the age where you can drink or drive a car or vote? Is it bigger than having sex? Is it bigger than eating? What's it bigger than, or what's it smaller than? And for the most people, it is big. I mean, capital B, capital I, capital G. The biggest event, the most important event. And yet, for some reason, we don't connect skills to it. And that's just shocking. I mean, it's really shocking. And those skills-based methods that are out there now, which are all good, they focus on achieving a natural birth. So that just leaves out so many people. So Birthing Better families represent all of us, all types of birth, all types of background, our individuality and our commonality and how those two things weave together. So let me explain a little bit about the lessons. So the lessons that you will get are about your individuality at first. Where do you want to birth, or where are you terrified of birthing? What type of birth do you want, or what type of birth do you dread, or what type of birth are you being pressured to have, even though you don't want to have that type of birth? So it's really important that you understand your individuality. And then it's really important that you understand how to prepare your pregnant body to give birth. And those skills are the body skills. And both the soft tissue inside your body and the structure of your body, your bony pelvis. These are very important skills to learn because in reality, giving birth is an exercise in plumbing. It's a big object that has to come out of your body. And so you prepare your body to do that activity, whether you're having a cesarean or whether you're planning on laboring, because your body does not know you're having a cesarean. Your mind knows, but your body is preparing to give birth. So what the body skills do is to drag our individuality of the type of birth we want and the place of birth into our commonality. And we talk a little bit in the lessons about the importance of being skilled, both for mothers and fathers to be. And that's in the lessons about preparation and how important it is. And then we talk about good and negative birthing behaviors. So as a birth coach, as a father or another person who sees you do this activity, they want to know when to help. And if they can't distinguish between when you're okay and when you're not okay, they won't know how to help. So it's really important that you understand what visually or what you sound like when you're coping, and what you look like and what you sound like when you're not coping, and then they'll have skills. So another set of skills in Birthing Better resource are about the teamwork skills. Those are soft skills, about your roles in childbirth. Yes, your midwife or doctor is going to help you give birth, but they're not doing the birth. You're doing the birth, and your birth partner is there to coach you, not just support you or support your choices or to get hung on. They're there to actually know how to help. And then we have an ebook that's about 3 births. We've taken one birth, and it is a labor and a vaginal birth, and we've replayed it 3 times with the same people, the exact same situation. And the difference between 2 of those births, one with sort of skills and the other with no skills, and the third with the Birthing Better skills. So you can see how in a made-up birth, an imagined birth, birth skills, the depths of the Birthing Better skills really work. And then we have an ebook on the 2 birth plans. Everybody now is making a birth plan, what you want and what you don't want. But you can't plan your birth. How your birth unfolds is what you have, not what you plan. And birth plans have failed too many women for too long, just as birth skills failed too many women for too long who thought that they could use birth skills to avoid medical care. So we have to stop trying to achieve a type of birth and start looking at birth as something that all of us do. And then we have skills on breathing, both the directed breathing, the ability to move your breath around in your body to impact change, to open up and to reduce pain and discomfort, and sustainable breathing. You need to be able to breathe in a way that can get you through these hours and hours of giving birth. We have really good communication skills, nonverbal and verbal. What you say to yourself and what you say to other people, how you can develop a good communication with your partner, and how they can develop a good one with you. And then we have the positive and negative voice, a great ebook on what happens when you're saying negative things to yourself, but you really need to manage well. And then we have the right touch. Touch is a funny thing in birth. I mean, a lot of women don't like to be touched because men don't know how to touch them right. So the right touch is the skills that Birthing Better Families developed that will help you use touch as a cue to relax. Then we have lessons on relaxation and tension and the whys and hows of pain and how you work with pain using these skills. And then we have a series of lessons on the progression of labor, how to stay in the now, how not to think about the future or think about the past, how you can make your labor more progressing, how you can break down every contraction into 5 phases so that you can cope and use skills in any of those phases, and the importance of being practiced. You don't have to practice a lot. You just have to practice until you know that you are going to use your skills. So we use analogies in our trust about sex. Sex is an urge to want to have intimacy. But if we had 1 experience or 5 experiences in our lifetime, wouldn't we want to be skilled? Well, of course. What about hunger? Hunger is a biological mandate, much like giving birth. Do we just let our 2-year-olds go around and pick anything that they want out there and put it in their mouth? We'd be nuts. We require our children, even at a young age, don't put that in your mouth. Learn the skills of what you can eat. Birth is no different. It shouldn't be any different. We are allowing and have allowed for too long millions upon millions upon millions of women to go into birth without essential skills. So start around 24 weeks. If you're 40 weeks when you get this video, start now. Any skill is better than no skill. And it is amazing how more motivated you are the closer you are to the birth. But when you start at 24 weeks, you have time to spread out the learning. The ebooks range from between 6 pages and 44 pages. This is not rocket science, but they're broken down into specific topics. Yes, there's a lot of repetition because some of those ebooks are on Kindle and Nook, so we had to give them each an ISB number and have them make sense. So skip over the repetition and get to the nuts and bolts of it. The video segments and the body work are short. They're 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Some of them are 5 minutes. This isn't a lot of time. Is your baby's birth worth it to you to become skilled? Do you want to put all your time into the wedding preparation and no time into the marriage? Do you want to put no time into the birth and think that parenting is going to be easy peasy? The 2 audios are, one is a birth journey, so you can learn by listening to contractions how to use your skills, and the other is the internal work, how to prepare the soft tissue of your vagina so that your baby doesn't get stuck in second stage or damage you coming out, because that is a real issue. A baby's head is the size of a grapefruit. Are women meant to stretch? Well, that's a funny thing. We do stretch, but often women tear or they are damaged for life. It's painful to have sex. They have trouble holding their urine. There are women all over the world who put a hole between their vagina and the rectum and they poop out their vagina. It's called a fistula. Some women tear really badly or end up with hemorrhoids. We don't want this to happen. So by preparing your vagina from 32 weeks onward, 5 minutes a day, is your baby's birth worth 5 minutes a day? 10 minutes a day, is it? So This is what the Birthing Better Childbirth online course is about. Skip or follow the order, doesn't matter. Families created lots of skills because their birth mattered to them. My children's births mattered to me. My first birth was not using these skills. It was using Lamaze, which worked so-so. But my son's birth 12 years later was infused with these skills, even though he was born very, very early and I was in a hospital. Nobody knew me. I took charge of my birth and they just stood back and watched me birth my son. My children's birth were worth it to me. I've spent 45 years of my life advocating for this because the hundreds of families who committed time with me in the early 70s were worth it. And the tens of thousands of Birthing Better families, or what used to be called the Pink Kit, are worth it. We have had phenomenal success, not only in reducing medical interventions, but also in coping and managing the pain of birth and having empowered births when we have non-laboring cesareans. Our birth memories are important, which means our birth has to be important. Talk to you later.